Okay, let's do the second half of Chapter 3 of the Phantom Tollbooth. 我刚刚好像在读第一段的时候根本忘记说书名了哈。Welcome to the word market, and from across the square, 5 very tall, thin gentlemen, regally dressed in silks and satins, plum hats and buckled shoes, rushed up to the car, stopped short, mopped 5 brows, caught 5 breaths, unrolled 5 parchments, and began talking in turn. 5个瘦瘦高高的 gentlemen, regally 很高贵的、很高雅的，穿着什么呢？都是丝做的衣服 ，satin silk 都是丝，胖胖的高高的帽子，还有带着扣子的鞋子。Rushed up to the car， 向着车子走过来，然后呢，停在车子前面，擦一擦他们的眉毛，深呼吸了一下。Unrolled 就是把5个 parchment 就是以前古代没有纸的时候写东西，就是用羊皮做的那个薄薄的漂白了的写字的这个 parchment 就卷开，然后就打招呼啦。And began talking in turn, 轮流。Greetings, salutations, welcome, good afternoon, hello. Milo nodded his head, and they went on, reading from their scrolls. Scrolls 就是一卷一卷的那个。By order of Azaz, the unabridged, king of Dictionopolis, monarch of letters, emperor of phrases, sentences, and miscellaneous figures of speech, we offer you the hospitality of our kingdom, country, nation, state, commonwealth, realm, empire, palatinate, principality. Do all those words mean the same thing? Said Milo, gasped Milo. Of course, certainly, precisely, exactly. Yes, they replied in order. 因为他们到了 Dictionopolis 了，对不对？所以必须要知道很多字，也要用很多字，所以我们这边就喜欢你看这5个人。这些字你们应该都会 King, Monarch, Emperor, realm 就是范围，就是 Emperor。这个字 Palatinate Palatine， 就是好像也是皇室遗留下来的、继承下来的什么东西，我好像忘记了。对，没关系你们去查一查。Okay. Well then, said Milo, not understanding why each one said the same thing in a slightly different way. Wouldn't it be simpler to use just one? It would certainly make more sense. Nonsense. Ridiculous. Fantastic. Absurd. Bosh. They chorused again. Chorus. 就是一起唱歌啊。He then continued, we're not interested in making money, making sense. It's not our job, scolded the first. Besides, explained the second, one word is not as good as another, so why not use them all? Then you don't have to choose which one is right, advised the third. Besides, sighed the fourth. If one is right, then 10 are 10 times as right. 如果一个是对的，10个对的就是对的10倍。Obviously, you don't know who we are, sneered the fifth. 你很明显不知道我们是谁。Sneer 就是很鄙视、很轻视的那种口气说。And they presented themselves one by one as the Duke of Definition, the Minister of Meaning, the Earl of Essence, the Count of Connotation, the Undersecretary of Understanding. Milo acknowledged the introduction, and as Tak growled softly, the minister explained, we are the king's advisors, or, in more formal terms, his cabinet. 他的内阁 内阁就是现在政府里面一定会有的，就是什么部长什么部长，全部组在一起，被总理管的，被总统管的那个就叫做内阁。所以这5个人是国王的内阁。Duke, Minister, Earl 都是同样的意思啊。Count 也是一个公爵 ，Earl 也是一个公爵。Under Secretary 好像就是部长下面的那一级，反正都是官位或者爵位了。而且他们就是这个都是一个什么 essence 争议的公爵，意思的 minister， 定义的 duke， 反正就是很好玩。Cabinet recited the Duke. 1. A small private room or closet case with drawers, etc. for keeping valuables or displaying curiosities. 他现在开始讲这个 cabinet 这个字的定义了哈。2. Council room for chief ministers of state. 3. A body of official advisors to the chief executive of a nation. 第3个就是 cabinet 内阁正式的意思。一个小小的私人的房间或者是一个 closet， 用来装什么呢？有价值的东西，或者是有趣的东西，或者是 displaying 有趣的东西。You see, continued the minister, bowing thankfully to the Duke, Dictionopolis is the place where all the words in the world come from. They are grown right here in our orchards. Orchards 就是果园。I didn't know the words grew on trees, said Milo timidly. Timid 就是弱弱的，懦弱、胆小的那种样子。Where did you think they grew? Shouted the Earl irritably. 就是已经很烦躁了。Irritable. A small crowd began to gather to see the little boy who didn't know that letters grew on trees. I didn't know they grew at all, admitted Milo even more timidly. Several people shook their heads sadly. Well, money doesn't grow on trees, does it? Demanded the Count. Demanded 就是问，一定要知道。I have heard not, said Milo. Then something must, right? Then something must. Why not words? Exclaimed the undersecretary triumphantly. The crowd cheered his display of logic and continued about his business. 群众呢就欢呼了，为什么呢？因为他的 display of logic， 因为他展现出来的逻辑，然后就去干自己的事了。To continue, continued the minister impatiently. Once a week, by royal proclamation, the word market is held here in the great square, and people come from everywhere to buy the words they need or trade in the words that they haven't used. Our job, said the Count, is to see that all the words sold are proper ones, for it wouldn't do to sell someone a word that had no meaning or didn't exist at all. It wouldn't do, 就是不可以 for it wouldn't do to sell someone a word that had no meaning or didn't exist at all. For instance, if you bought a word like where would you use it? It would be difficult, thought Milo, but there were so many words that were difficult, and he knew hardly any of them. Milo 现在终于知道了，他不太知道，他知道的生字不够多。But we never choose which ones to use, explained the Earl, as they walked toward the market stalls. For as long as they mean what they mean to mean, we don't care if they make sense or nonsense. 如果他们意思是要表达他们本来就要表达的，if they mean what they mean to mean， 这个是你们一定要学怎么样用这个字哈。Innocence or magnificence, added the Count. Reticence or common sense, said the undersecretary. That seems simple enough, said Milo, trying to be polite. Easy as falling off a log, cried the Earl, falling off a log with a loud thump. Must you be so clumsy? Shouted the Duke. All I said was, began the Earl, rubbing his head, 因为他的头在痛。 innocence，无辜的，很天真的。magnificent 就是很棒的。reticent 就是沉默的、无言的、无语的。common sense 就是常识。We heard you, said the minister angrily, and you have to find an expression that's less dangerous. The Earl dusted himself off as the others snickered audibly. Snicker 就是笑，轻视的、讥笑的笑。Audibly 听得到的，他们被听到了。Audible 就是听得到的。You see, cautioned the Count, you must pick your words very carefully.And be sure to pay just what you intend to say, and be sure to say what you intend to say. And now we must leave to make preparations for the royal banquet. 他们说你一定要很小心，用字一定要恰当。你说出来什么，你一定要确切的表达你想要说的事情。所以这个书就像我为什么所喜欢这本书，它就是在里面隐藏很多意思，它就偷偷的告诉你说。还是很重要，你要确切，你要用正确的字来表达你想要说的事情。make preparations for the royal banquet， 就是要一个晚宴。You'll be there, of course, said the minister. But before Milo had a chance to say anything, they were rushing off across the square as fast as they had come. 他根本还没有时间回答，他们就匆匆忙忙的离开了。Enjoy yourself in the market, shouted back the undersecretary. Market, recited the Duke, an open space or covered building in which 他又开始说定义了。And that was the last Milo heard as they disappeared into the crowd. I never knew words could be so confusing, Milo said to Tak as he bent down to scratch the dog's ear.Only when you use a lot to say a little, answered the Tak. Milo thought this was the wisest thing he had heard all day. 他认为这是最有智慧的事情了，他今天听了最有智慧的话了，他一整天听到的。Come on, he shouted. Let's see the market. It looks very exciting. Okay. 我会不会继续念下去呢？说不定会。Okay, see you later.